Lunar missions, stories of triumph and disaster. Lunar missions made the news twice this week, but for very different reasons. Find out why India is celebrating a technological triumph, while Russia is downplaying a catastrophic failure. Only about half of the people living today were around when Apollo 11 first landed on the moon on July 20th, 1969. I remember it vividly, including Neil Armstrong's now famous "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind" speech that we couldn't actually make out in the live broadcast. No humans have been back to the moon since Apollo 17 splashdown on December 17, 1972. Even so, we've seen 14 uncrewed lunar missions over the past half-century, along with a number of orbital missions. We've also seen various uncrewed missions to other places in our solar system since the Apollo program. These have included Russia's Venera missions to Venus, NASA's Pioneer, Viking, and Voyager programs, and the New Horizons flyby by Pluto. 2 new uncrewed lunar missions made the news this week with very different outcomes. One was a technological triumph, while the other was a catastrophic failure. First, the good news. India became the 4th nation in history to land on the moon when the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO's, Chandrayaan-3 lunar lander touched down safely. Chandrayaan is Sanskrit for mooncraft, and the program's mission is to demonstrate the ISRO's end-to-end capability in safe landing and roving on the lunar surface, according to its website. It will also be conducting a range of on-site scientific experiments. India's lunar mission began on July 14th with a rocket launch from India's primary space facility in the state of Andhra Pradesh. The propulsion module made a series of increasingly wider Earth orbits before inserting itself into a lunar orbit on August 5th. This is an ingenious approach because it avoids the enormous expenditure of energy the Apollo missions needed to break free of Earth's orbit. As a result, the Chandrayaan program is much less expensive. The lander, named Vikram, Sanskrit for brave, ejected from the propulsion module and completed a series of precise maneuvers with its onboard thrusters to land safely on the lunar surface. The lander was carrying Pragyan, Sanskrit for wisdom, a 26 kilogram or 57 pound rover. The Chandrayaan-3 is the first lunar mission to touch down on the moon's unexplored South Pole. Scientists believe that craters in this region contain frozen water. If this is true, future missions could convert the water into rocket fuel. It might even be used as drinking water for astronauts stationed on the moon. Once the dust had settled, about a day after Vikram's touchdown, the Pragyan rover exited Vikram, sliding down its ramp toward the moon's surface. Now that it's on the ground, it's maneuvering among the craters and boulders, collecting data. Using its alpha particle X-ray spectrometer, APXS, and laser-induced breakdown spectroscope, LIBS, Pragyan will study the chemical composition of the lunar soil, technically called regolith. Both Vikram and Pragyan use solar-powered batteries. A full day and night on the moon lasts 29 days, giving the lander and rover about 2 weeks of daylight to complete their work. After the sun sets, there will be 2 weeks of total darkness and extreme cold, with temperatures falling below minus 238 degrees Celsius. Neither craft will function in these conditions, but it might be possible to reactivate them when the sun rises again. The IPSO certainly intends to try. The entire nation of India celebrated Chandrayaan-3's success with dancing and drumming in the streets. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi called the lunar mission a victory of a new developed India. Now for the bad news. Last Saturday, Russia's space agency Roscosmos announced that its Luna 25 spacecraft had experienced an abnormal situation while entering its pre-landing lunar orbit, losing all contact with mission control. As a result, the apparatus moved into an unpredictable orbit and ceased to exist as a result of a collision with the surface of the moon. according to a Roscosmos statement. At that moment, Russia's first lunar mission in 47 years became a catastrophic failure. In stark contrast with the celebrations in India, Russian state television gave Luna 25's crash just 26 seconds of coverage. It was the number 8 story on the new news that day. Adding insult to injury for Russia, Luna 25 was involved in a space race with Chandrayaan-3 to reach the moon's south pole. So instead of an opportunity to improve Russia's global image, Luna 25 became a national embarrassment. Although these are uncrewed missions, space exploration always reminds us of the mythical archetype of the hero's journey. We think of the plucky rovers that explore other worlds as friends, and we feel a tinge of sadness when we hear they've stopped working. These lunar missions are part of the new story humanity needs about the world around us and our place in it. Confirming the presence of water on the moon's surface and understanding its chemical composition will help us understand whether life is possible elsewhere or if we're alone in the cosmos. So, for the next couple of weeks, Vikram will conduct experiments while Pragyan completes its appointed rounds. They'll transmit their findings back to India before the lunar nightfall, after which everyone will hope for the best when the sun rises again 2 weeks after that. Russia's President, Vladimir Putin, expressed his congratulations on the impressive progress made by India in the area of science and technology. India's Prime Minister Modi concluded his speech saying, "This success belongs to all of humanity, and it will help more missions by other countries in the future. We always have more to learn if we dare to know."